Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to tell you a story that gave me goosebumps when I discovered all the details. It's about a man who simply disappeared from the face of the earth, leaving behind a broken family and a mystery that seemed impossible to solve. Imagine the following situation. You wake up one normal morning, go to have breakfast, and realize that your father is not home. You think he left early for work, right? But when night falls and he doesn't come back, when the days go by and there's not even a phone call, when 20 years go by without a single clue. That was the reality of the Rodriguez family in 2003. Carlos Rodriguez, 45 years old, father of 2 children, married for 18 years, left home on a random Tuesday to go to work at the mechanic shop where he was a partner. He kissed his wife, Maria, on the forehead as he did every day. He said, "See you later," to his 12 and 14-year-old children. And he never came back. At first, Maria thought he had had some problem at work or maybe an accident. She called the garage. The partners said he hadn't shown up. She called hospitals. Nothing. She went to the police station to file a report, but you know how it is. Missing adults aren't a priority. What was most shocking was that Carlos had left everything behind. His wallet, documents, money he had saved at home, clothes, even his car was in the garage. It was as if he had simply disappeared. In the following months, Maria struggled to find any clues. She discovered strange things she had never noticed before. Carlos had a cell phone she didn't recognize. He had withdrawn a considerable amount of money from his bank account in the weeks before he disappeared. And the strangest thing, some neighbors said they had seen him talking to a man in a black suit a few days before he disappeared. The family began to speculate about everything. Did he have a double life? Did he owe money to someone dangerous? Or did he simply decide to abandon his family and start a new life? Maria never accepted it, even when her friends told her to move on. Even when her own teenage children began to accept that their father was never coming back, she kept searching. She hired private detectives, put up posters around town, even sought out psychics, anything that might provide an answer. Guys, in 2023, exactly 20 years later, something extraordinary happened. Maria, now 65, received a call that would change everything. It was from the hospital São Lucas, in a city 400 kilometers away. A man had been admitted to the hospital after a car accident. He had no documents, but when he regained consciousness, he gave his name, Carlos Rodriguez. He said he had lived in that city for almost 20 years, but that he couldn't remember anything before 2003. When Maria arrived at the hospital and saw that man, guys, I can't even imagine what she felt. It was Carlos, older, with gray hair, but it was definitely him. The truth they discovered through medical examinations was shockingly absurd. Carlos had suffered a massive stroke in 2003, which explained why he had disappeared like that. He was walking down the street when he fell ill, was rescued and taken to a hospital in another city. But here comes the most shocking part. He had completely lost his memory. He didn't know who he was, where he lived, or if he had any family. The doctors at the time tried to identify him, but since there was no integrated system like there is today, and he had no documents, he ended up being registered as João da Silva, a generic name given to patients without identification. Carlos, or João as he came to be known, was sent to a nursing home after being discharged from hospital. Over time, he learned to live with his new identity. He got a simple job and lived a humble but dignified life. He never recovered his memories from before the accident, but he created new ones, new habits. During all those years, he lived just 400 kilometers from the family who were desperately looking for him. Maria had passed through that city several times in her search, without knowing he was there. The family reunion was emotional, but also painful. Carlos did not recognize his wife or children. To him, they were strangers trying to convince him that he had a previous life. It took a lot of psychological support for him to begin to accept his true identity. Today, Carlos returned home, but it's like living with a completely different person than the one the family knew. He has to relearn how to love people he used to love deeply, but who are now like strangers to him. Guys, this story made me reflect on how life can change from one moment to the next. A family that spent 20 years searching for answers, a man who lived 2 completely different lives, and how sometimes the truth can be stranger than any theory we can imagine. Maria told me something I'll never forget. I spent 20 years searching for the Carlos I knew. Now I need to learn to know the Carlos he became. So, guys, what do you think of the story? Comment below if you know of a similar case. If you liked the video, leave a like, subscribe to the channel and activate the bell so you don't miss any stories.